Hello everyone, welcome to my studio. This is Marianne Andreazza and I'm going to show you how to do the background and the clouds particularly from the Dynasty Designers Painted Creations Volume 1. I'm so happy to be in that book and I'm hoping that you all will enjoy the projects that are in it. So the first one is called Welcome Spring. The piece in the book is round, but it's a grooved piece, so the same kind of thing applies when you do the background. I've already done it, but I'm going to explain to you how to do it. You can see from the surface that we have a dark bottom area. We get lighter in the middle, and we get very light on the top. How I do this is I load the 3/4 inch black gold wash brush with Bahama blue first. And the reason why I use a dark color first is that retains the darkness I want on the bottom. As I want the background to get lighter, I add spa blue. And finally, when I want the top to be really light, I'll add some titanium white. I do this in a slip-slap motion, so I'll work this entire bottom background, and then I'll pick up spa blue, and I'll work out the blend line. And I'm not cleaning my brush in between. I'm using a dirty brush. And around about up here, I'll pick up some white, and so I have a nice light background. It does take 2 coats sometimes, and for the ease of time, I thought I would just explain and sort of show you how to do it. But what I really want you to see is how I do clouds with the Mezzaluna brush. The Mezzaluna brush is a fantastic brush that was developed for highlighting and dry brushing. And the structure of the brush is such that it's got firm bristles, it's got a rounded, like a filbert edge, and that helps us when we're using this as a dry brush or doing clouds, so you don't have those sharp edges that you have to then work out. The next brush I'm going to show you is brand new. It is the Dynasty Stencil Pro. When I did the book, I did not have this brush, but I wanted to show it to you. All of the brushes can be had at thebrushguys.com, and if you use my code MA2, you get a little bit more of a discount. So let's get to the fun stuff. Let's get to clouds. I'm going to move some of these paint bottles out of the way. What I do with this brush is I put a little puddle on my palette. I pull from that puddle, and you can see the brush is loaded, but there's not a lot of paint on it. And so what I'm going to do to do my clouds, I always start, it doesn't matter where you start, I start in the upper left. I just lay that brush down and I'm going to start scrubbing with it. And when I run out of paint, I'm going to turn it over. I can do little swipes with it so that we have some clouds that are not just round, and at the end I always flatten my clouds. You don't always have to do that, but I've always lived around the ocean, and ocean clouds are flatter at the bottom. Then I'll usually take my scrubbing to the other side, and this surface is really, really dry to paint on, so I'm going to pick up more paint than I might ordinarily do. See, I got a nice bright cloud there, and I have to work quickly because if I'm scrubbing, just like you would scrub a pot, but I don't want to get a hole in the acrylic either. So you need to make sure your paint is good and dry and try to avoid that hole. I'm starting to get one right here. I'm going to stop. This cloud perhaps isn't as bright as I would like, so I'm going to pick up more paint, drop the brush a little bit. I originally started up here. I'm going to drop it a little bit, and I'm going to make that layered cloud look. And you see how easy I'm getting that look, and I'm not working very hard for it. That's what I love about this brush. I think I said they come in 4 sizes: extra large, large, medium, and small. The other ways I have used this to dry brush highlight on like the sections of pumpkins when you want to highlight in the middle and you want your darkness and your depth at the sections on the pumpkin. I mean, I love it for that. Very easy. You can see that I am really just scrubbing paint on here. can also hear it. Maybe the microphone might be picking that up. Okay, and I might just continue with some straight lines across to make my sky lighter. You know, sometimes clouds are not always puppy. And I really don't know the names of the clouds, but I'm sure they all have names. So that's how I would get my clouds with the Mezzaluna brush. What I did in the book is I went for a mixed media effect that didn't necessarily have all the darkness in it that some mixed media projects have. And so I still used the Mezzaluna brush, but I used it in a different way. And I'm laying down drywall tape, of all things, on the surface, and I'm going to make sure it's down there pretty well. I mean, it's tacky on one side. And so what I'm going to do is load my Mezzaluna again, and I'm going to make a cloud, but I'm not going to press so hard because, like a stencil, I don't really want the bleed. I want to get that little checkered pattern in my cloud just for a little bit of interest. I did clouds this way on the project, but I wanted to show you how easily you can do clouds without this crutch, if you will. And I also wanted to make this project look a little mixed media. And like I said, mixed media does not have to be dark. We are going to use a stencil on this background as well, so I'll show you that in a minute. And that makes it multimedia because we're using freehand painting. I'm using this drywall tape. I'm going to use the stencil. So I have different media that I'm putting on here. But it doesn't all have to be steampunk dark. Not that there's anything wrong with that. That just was not the look I was going for. And when I teach classes, so many decorative painters don't want to try mixed media because they think it's just steampunk. And it can be many things. So I'm just going to make some freehand clouds, and I'm sure I'm going to have some bleed, but hopefully I still get that checkered pattern. Because honestly, I get a little bit anxious with this brush, and I just want to make it move. Okay, if I pull that tape back, you see I got my clouds, but I also have that checked pattern. And that was from using a little bit of paint so I could retain that checked pattern. So the next thing I want to show you as part of that background and what you can do with stencils, I used the Americana Decor Distressed Harlequin. It's a 12 by 12 stencil. You can pretty much use any stencil, but what I liked about this one, and yeah, Marianne doesn't clean her stencils, so Marianne, bad girl. I don't use the stencil. I mean, I use the stencil a lot. I should have cleaned it the last time. I didn't. Bad girl. Okay, I'm going to position it. I'm not going to get so crazy. I want it straight, but I'm going to use the lines on the board to help me out. And I'm not going to stencil every single little section, but I am going to kind of hold my stencil because I'm lazy. I don't want to tape it down. I'm going to load this stencil brush, and I'm going to choose to stencil all over, you know, in little areas, not every single Harlequin, Harlequin's diamond. I'm going to, vary the pattern. I'm going to put some down here. At some point I'm going to have flowers and a bird, so I'm not going to worry about it too much on the sides or the bottom. So I'm just picking randomly the little Harlequin diamonds that I want to fill in. Okay, I'm not going to do every one. I'm going to skip around. And I think actually now I've done maybe one more on this side. This side seems to be lacking in little diamonds. So I will do that, and let's see what we have. So what we have is Harlequin diamonds, and I'm not even bothered by the fact that I over stenciled in here and I went into the next little diamond. It's all good. Okay, so that's how I do backgrounds. That's how I do clouds with the Mezzaluna brush. Again, thebrushguys.com has the full line of Dynasty brushes. You can get them there. Use the code MA2 and you'll get a little bit of a discount. Thank you for spending this time with me. Hope you enjoyed it.